Catalangate is not an isolated case. In fact, spyware abuse has been detected in many countries, whether they are autocracies and also Western democracies. What makes Catalangate stand out is that it is one of the largest cases of mercenary spyware abuse detected with forensical means, committed by a Western democracy that supposedly has proper separation of powers and where the rule of law is respected. So what's surprising about Catalangate is the breadth of the spying across different segments of civil society. We're not speaking only about some group of political dissidents. We are speaking about pretty much every segment of civil society. And the fact that no accountability has been really achieved so far makes it stand out even more. The risks of mercenary spyware abuse against civil society are broad. First of all, it undermines privacy, one of our most fundamental rights. It undermines freedom of expression, freedom of association. It also silences political conversation and dissidency. It can be used and weaponized against political opponents, undermining this way the possibility of having fair elections. And we believe that we cannot have a true democracy if spyware tools like this are used unchecked and without proper oversight. So, first of all, we need to establish strict legal and regulatory frameworks based on legality, necessity, and proportionality. Second of all, we need to enhance oversight and accountability mechanisms. We need to demand transparency from spyware developers and vendors, provide victims with access to information and legal remedies. We need to enforce export controls to prevent the sale and the abuse of such technologies. We need to support counter-surveillance efforts, and we need to call for a moratorium for the usage of these tools until proper regulation is in place. Mercenary spyware can affect electoral integrity in different ways. First of all, with the surveillance of political figures, spyware like Pegasus and Candiru has been used to basically monitor them. This surveillance can include intercepting communications, accessing confidential data, tracking movements, so the ability to spy on political figures can be used to gain an unfair advantage in elections. Second of all, this can lead to harassment and intimidation. Like spyware can be used to harass political opponents, journalists, activists. This can create a climate of fear and self-censorship. And besides, this can discourage people from participating in the political process and expressing their opinions freely. And lastly, disinformation and manipulation. Information obtained through those means can be used to spread and create fake narratives. This can erode the trust in the electoral process and affect voters' ability to make an informed decision. So transnational repression occurs when authoritarian regimes extend their repressive tactics beyond their national borders to silence or control perceived threats, including dissidents, journalists, and activists residing abroad. What's the role of mercenary spyware in all this? It allows for a global reach. Spyware companies like NSO Group provide those tools to all governments. They allow for covert operations. Pegasus and Candiru operates stealthily. It infects devices without the users knowing it, so they cannot really know whether they are being targeted. This kind of spyware access to all kinds of information on the victims, which can be used to blackmail them, threaten their families, etc. And also, this spyware abuse allows for a very targeted action. Without engaging in mass surveillance, they can pinpoint dissidency wherever they are in the world and still prosecute, even if they are not anymore residing in their own borders. So mercenary spyware affects privacy and encryption, which is one of the main techniques, privacy-preserving technologies. It basically bypasses encryption. Mercenary spyware can basically circumvent encryption by targeting the weak links in the security chain, such as the device itself. Pegasus or Candiru can access your data before encryption happens, and also it can access the data after the decryption has happened on your device or on your target's device. Even if a message is encrypting during transmission, if you have spyware on your device, it can be accessed. In terms of specific capabilities these technologies have, for example, they can activate your device and turn it into a spy by activating the microphone or the camera to record and transmit audio and video. It can capture messages before you actually send them or just after you have read them. And therefore, the implications are broad. If any sufficiently sophisticated actor, which now is basically every government of every country on earth, can basically use this technology, it means that the encryption, end-to-end encryption that we have is no longer effective as a means of protection. Any sufficiently sophisticated actor worldwide can see behind the wall of encryption. They can even implant malware on your device. So that is an incredibly dangerous thing, which basically raises lots of questions in the validity of, for example, judicial processes against certain targets who have been victims of mercenary spyware abuse that can actually implant evidence on their device.